So this is a video about how to deal with chronic pain, more specifically how I dealt with chronic pain and how my experiences might actually be able to help you. In order to be able to convince you that I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to have to go down the history, and I really hope it doesn't sound like I'm asking for sympathy, or I don't want you to feel sorry for me, because you really shouldn't. I don't have any pain at all now, but it's important that you know my experiences so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so it all started in 2014. I went into a leisure centre where I was teaching yoga students. I'm a Pilates and yoga teacher, and I slipped on a patch of water and fell really heavily on my left hip. I mean, really went down like a sack of potatoes. And I remember feeling mortified and embarrassed that I'd fallen over. It's not the most elegant of things to do. And I remember the pain. It shot through my pelvis, up through my back. But more than that, I was just embarrassed. So management came and sort of scooped me up off the floor, took me out the bag. And I think there was a bit of shock looking back. I think I felt the colour drain from my face. But I just wanted to, don't cause any fuss. I just wanted to get back to what I needed to do, but I couldn't because I was in too much pain. So in the end, I went home to try and sleep it off. The following day, when I woke up, I was in a lot of pain, but more than that, I'd clearly done myself quite a lot of damage because I was bleeding from places that you're not supposed to bleed from. So I took myself off to the hospital and went, I'm bleeding from here. And I was rushed straight in. I think it's the first time I'd ever come across some quite strong painkillers. So they put me in a little side room, gave me some painkillers and said, someone will be round to see you soon. By the time the doctor got to me about an hour later, I remember him saying to me, where does it hurt? And I just went, nowhere, because it didn't. Fortunately, he did realise that was the drugs talking and not me. He poked me around a little bit, but I couldn't feel anything because I was numb from the drugs. So they gave me a low bore and said, give it a couple of weeks, it'll probably calm down and go back to your life. As it happened, I was unable to drive anywhere for, I think, over a week. So I couldn't actually get home. I was in a different town to where I live. When I eventually got home, I went to see the GP there, and she said, yeah, you've just got to keep moving, keep taking the medication, keep going. I'm going to say it again, I was a Pilates and yoga teacher, and I owned a studio. So I had quite a big business to run, and I had to get back to work. And I just took an awful lot of painkillers to help me do that. And anyone who's watching this, who's experienced this, will know that you start taking more painkillers and you just need to stop taking more and more and more because they stop working. And a lot of these really strong painkillers, they also make you very tired. So I was having to cancel things and cancel clients. I was exhausted. I just wanted to be in bed most of the time. And then when I was in bed asleep, you can't sleep because of the pain. So you're taking drugs to go to sleep, and then you're taking things to wake up, and then you're taking stuff for the pain. And this went on for about a year, getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually I just broke and had to sell my business. So this was the first kind of really catastrophic thing that happened. 12 years I had this business and I had to sell it because I was in too much pain to carry on. That situation wasn't all bad. I'm quite driven. So as a person, that's my dog, by the way. So I thought, I'll write a book about my Pilates and yoga experiences. And here it is. Yeah, I'm not here to talk about this one though. This is my first book. If you're interested, I'll put a link underneath. But instead, I'm here to talk about what happened next. So I wrote one book. That was quite cool. That was quite proactive. Still in pain, still going backwards and forwards from the GP surgery, still trying to sort myself out. And at that time, my relationship then crumbled under the strain of it all. So I'm unemployed, I'm alone, and I'm sort of unemployable actually, because it wasn't like I could do any job that involved long hours or standing for long periods of time. So I decided to retrain, and I retrained as a teaching assistant, and I went and worked in a school. I thought that would be okay, and it was for a while. I still struggled day to day with the pain and the fatigue and, you know, the overwhelming sadness that my life had sort of disintegrated. But even that became too much in the end. It was just too much. By this point in time, I was on morphine, and I was having to take more and more of it to just get through the day. I was on patches and subsidising that with other painkillers. It was horrific. And about 6 months into the job, I think I finally hit rock bottom. There was a day where I remember looking at the front door and I could not bring myself to walk out of it. It's just the weirdest feeling. I kept going to the door to leave to go to work, and I couldn't leave. I went to the GP after that and said, "Oh, weirdest things happened." And he said, "It sounds like you suffering from anxiety." So, oh, great, we'll add that to the list, shall we? So I'm in pain, depressed, fatigued, and now anxious as well. Unemployed, unemployable, that was it. That was rock bottom. But you know what they say, you have to hit rock bottom before you can start moving up. And this is where the story really starts to get interesting. So somewhere in all of that, I had moved house. So I'd met somebody else, and we bought a house together, and we moved in together. At the back of the house, there was this space that I thought, well, actually, that would be quite good for teaching in. But I didn't think about teaching. I thought about using it as a space to start rehabilitating myself, like really take myself in hand and go, right, this is not a life I want. I'm going to do something about it now. So I bought a little Pilates reformer. If you don't know what it is, it's like a bit of gym kit for Pilates. So I bought a little one just for me, so that I could do stuff on it. Posted a couple of pictures on social media, and some of my old clients said, "Oh, are you teaching again?" And it kind of snowballed from there. People started coming back to me, and that was fantastic, and it started to feel a little bit more like my life. And this led to a chain of events which led to me living my now pain-free life. I was offered a couple of classes at a clinic where the owner had quite an interest in pain science. And given everything that I'd been suffering and was suffering, he suggested I look into some of this stuff. So I did, but I went one step further. I started going on all these training courses to learn about current thinking in pain science. I mean, they cost a fortune, but they were really interesting. And through that, I started to understand what I had been experiencing, what the pain was, and why I couldn't get rid of it. As I sit here right now, I have no pain at all in the joint that was so life-destroying, so destructive, so debilitating for 4 years. I did have medical help as well, not just the medication, but I was given a few injections. So what I'm saying is that the medical help alongside what I learned is why I can sit here today fully fit and well. I ran a half marathon last weekend. I'm working to the fullest extent of my capabilities again. And I've put all of it into this book. Can't quite get it to square up to the camera. There you go. There we go. Move away from pain. The first few chapters are the science. But, I mean, there's science and cats, okay? It's simplified. Not that I'm saying you people wouldn't understand it, but it's simplified because if you're in pain, the last thing you want to do is trawl through paragraphs and paragraphs of science. So it's simplified. It tells you why you're still in pain and what you can do about it and how you can get yourself out of it. And at the back, here's the rehab stuff. And it's for each part of your body. So if you've got chronic pain in your shoulder, there is a shoulder section. If you've had chronic pain in your knee, there is a knee section. There, literally everything. Elbow, hands, hips, back. Wherever you are experiencing your long-term persistent pain problem, there is a section in this book for you. And as I said, this is to be used alongside your medical support, not as an alternative to it. I am not a pain expert. I was an expert in my pain and my experiences, and you are an expert in your pain and your experiences. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I am saying that there is a life after a long-term injury or after a chronic pain condition. I think for a long time I didn't believe that there was. I thought, this is it, this is me now, and it was awful. But you can get out of it, and I know for some people coming out of it isn't actually an option. I appreciate that. I know that for some people, particularly if you've been in it for a really long time, you haven't worked for a long time, actually to start getting yourself out of that situation poses other difficulties. I completely get that. However, this might get you moving just a little bit more. It might mean you can suffer just a little bit less. And so I'm going to put the links to this book in the information about this video. I'm going to put ways that you can contact me also in that section. And I really hope that if any of you do give it a go, you have some really positive experiences, and I would love to hear about them. Thank you very much for watching this, and good luck.